What would be the sort of the three things you tick off for him to be a successful mayor?
I wrote a piece. I have a column in the Hill, and I wrote my own advice to Mamdani because it's not like he would, race out to exit 41 on the Long Island Expressway from New York City to meet with me. And I said, look, focus on what's happening in the Midtown Tunnel and not the Middle East. Number two, recognize that you can appeal to voters in Brooklyn, New York. Nationally, we need to appeal to voters in places like Brooklyn, Iowa. So just understand that your media market does not necessarily define the Democratic electorate around the country. And number three, find a way to fuse your generational talents in voter turnout, in digital strategies, in the mechanics of street campaigning. Find a way to fuse that with the kind of messengers we need in more centrist places, and you can be the next leader of the Democratic Party, or one of the next leaders of the Democratic Party, and help us win nationally.
Yeah. You and I know people who are very insistent that he's an anti-Semite. And I think using that phrase should only be done with clear evidence. Do you consider him to be an anti-Semite?
I consider some of his statements to be anti-Semitic. I think when you, very honestly, when you condemn Israel for what has happened in Gaza, and you have the right to condemn Israel, but it's hard for me to find a condemnation of what Hamas did, a sustained condemnation of what Hamas did on October 7th. That creates a double standard. And those double standards are usually based on some antipathy that you may have. And I've urged him to speak with greater clarity.
I know Jews, and you probably do too, who you could say the same thing about. Would you say that they're anti-Semitic as well?
No, because here, I have a very simple litmus test. You have the right to criticize Israel for what is happening in Gaza. I'm deeply troubled by what is happening in Gaza. If you were silent, whether you're Jewish or not, on October 7th, but you have stood up and shouted out about Israel in the aftermath, you have a double standard.
But if you do that and you're a Jew, would you say that Jew is anti-Semitic?
If you were quiet, well, look, I'm not sure I would define, it's a good gotcha. I'm not sure I would define, technically define anti-Semitism extending to Jews and non-Jews, but clearly you're operating based on a double standard. And that's why I didn't say Mamdani was anti-Semitic. I said his double standard reflects a form of anti-Semitism.
I understand.